This is the Jetting Up Podcast with B-Reich and Bryan Foti. Hello and a pleasant good afternoon to you. I am Bryan Foti alongside with my co-host B-Reich, Brian Reichert. And B, we are back in the swing of things. Jets training camp underway. We've already got some injury problems to go over. Vincent Smith out for 2 months with a core muscle injury. Denzel Mims can't get on the field, tweaked his hamstring. So a couple of the wide receivers for the Jets that they were counting on this year are already out. And with that, I'll say, what's up, my man? B, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Foti, how's it going? I mean, training camp is here. It's an exciting time. I mean, I will admit, it feels a little weird that we're not there, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the sad things about COVID-19. We're not unfortunately going to be able to go this year. We had a great time at camp last year. Got the picture with Jamal Adams. That was fun. Met a couple of players. Watched practice. It was a cool experience, but we'll be able to do it next year, hopefully. And
plus, the highlight was Ira from Staten Island. I mean, come on, that was the highlight.
I know, yeah. Ira loves training camp, so he's going to be disappointed that you can't go this year. But it's a situation that we're all in, and it's going to be interesting because working in this new offensive line with chemistry, no preseason games. The first game is going to be Buffalo, week 1. It's going to count. So it's definitely going to be very interesting to see how that line holds up in week 1 and as they move throughout the season with not a lot of game experience, just a bunch of practice time. And they actually just got into their first padded practice. I think it was yesterday or the day before. So, yeah, it's been moving slowly, but we're here now into the season, so we can start ratcheting up our episodes, getting us ready. We're less than a month from opening day, believe it or not, so I'm excited, bro. I'm ready to go for football. I need a distraction with all this crazy stuff with the virus and everything, the politics, so I'm ready to get Jet football back. I'm excited.
Yeah, it'll be nice. It'll be nice to have football back in any sense of the way, you know, just to get our minds off stuff, get back into sports, and try and enjoy, you know, enjoy football again as much as we can. But, I mean, how frustrating are you already to hear with the injuries and non-participants already at this training camp, Brian?
You know what? I was more disappointed last year. I felt like I got way too into it early on, and then pretty much everybody was ready to go by opening day. I'm not going to go too crazy. I mean, would it be nice to see Denzel Mims out there on the field? Yeah. I know Pierre Desir hurt his hamstring. Brian Poole is dehydrated, so he's not practicing. But, you know, those are really the big guys on the defensive and offensive side of the ball. Vincent Smith, it's kind of a
Vincent Smith getting that core surgery.
Yeah, core muscle surgery. Brought it up at the top. You know, he's out for 2 months, probably half the season. But again, he's not I mean, they were looking for big things. I know a lot of people said expect big things from him. But, again, he's more of like a role player. So it's not like it's Jamison Crowder. It's not like it's Rashard Perryman. You know, he's like your fourth receiver. Mims is still going to be out there on the field, I'm pretty sure. Hopefully his hamstring isn't too serious. Herndon hopefully stays healthy. Griffin is out there. So, you know, I think it's going to be all right. I just hope that, you know, they're very thin at wide receiver. And what scares me is you know, if Darnold struggles, the fans and the media may start to turn on him a little bit. So I hope they have enough depth at that position to have him make some plays. And I think the protection will be there. I just hope that there's enough where guys get open.
What did you think of the Chris Hogan signing? Kind of picked him up off the scrap heap, 1-year deal. Kind of felt like it was a move that had to be done, especially with, you know, Mims and Smith being out. Because, I mean, to be honest, both those guys are competing for a starting job. So if both of them are out, you know, we can't be rolling in with Jeff Smith as our other outside wide receiver. So I thought the Hogan move was pretty good.
Yeah, no, I like Hogan. He's a veteran wide receiver. You know, he's been on every other AFC East team. I remember him mostly with New England when he was there for a couple of years. He played well in Buffalo, too. So it's a nice little pickup. I think he's a guy that will be able to get open, veteran presence. Yeah. Nice little vet.
He should be available tomorrow, I think. I think he had to pass a physical test.
Yeah, they said he had to pass COVID testing, so he was probably going to play tomorrow. I've seen the clips of Becton practicing. He looks pretty sharp early on. I saw he pancaked a couple
people. They're driving me crazy with this, man. I mean, everybody is tweeting that this guy's a big guy. I mean, did we not know that? I mean, did we not understand the guy that we were picking is massive? I mean, can anybody talk about his play? I don't care how big he is.
Yeah, God. He's a big dude. He's a big man. I love
I
it.
get it, but is he pass blocking well?
Well, I
Is
read
he
one
moving
tweet that I
guys? That's what
texted
I
you
want to know.
yesterday when I was at work. I read one tweet that Jordan Jenkins gave him a professional experience as an NFL pass rusher, and he got beat for a sack. But then you sent me something that he put Neville Hewitt right on his butt. So the run blocking that they said this guy was going to be phenomenal with, so he's definitely going to help in the run game. And if he can
No,
get,
he's going to be great in the run game.
and with
Great in
his
the run
pass blocking, I think he'll become on part of that. It's going to take, you'll have some growing pains early in your rookie year as all tackles go through, but I think he'll be generally okay. And you just hope that this guy stays healthy and he's a
game.
bookend tackle.
A lot is going to depend on, kind of the guy next to him, too. That left guard kind of, making sure that Becton's solid and supporting him. And, Frank Pollock, as soon as practice ended, I'm not a huge fan of the coach, but he did have a lot of high praise for the guy, Alex Lewis, that they brought back, saying that he was terrific, he looks great, and he thinks he's due for a big season. So that would be nice if him and Becton could kind of turn things around on that side of the football.
Yeah, and that's your left guard. Then you got Greg Van Roden on the other side at right guard, and you've got Fant. I haven't really heard much about my guy Fant. That's my free agent acquisition, as you pegged him for me. I'm a big Fant guy, so I haven't heard much with him on the field. I know we talked a little bit. But yeah, exactly. So he's kind of falling under the radar. I know McGovern looks good. They've said that. So, but again, I was reading another article that Rich Cimini posted saying one former offensive line coach. I forgot the name of the coach, but he basically said what the Jets have to do right now is going to be it's nearly impossible, basically, because no preseason, no reps, 5 new starters.
Absolutely.
It's a tough, tall order to ask. 5 guys just practicing and then getting ready to go to game number 1 and play for real. And you got a tough matchup with the Bills. So that's going to be something to watch for. I mean, it stinks that there's no preseason because I always like the preseason football games. You kind of get back into it. You can kind of enjoy football a little bit without the stress and the agita of watching it.
Do you know if they're doing any of those joint scrimmages?
No, nothing this year. Everything is all by the team because with COVID regulations, it's going to be like college football. Practice.
I was going to say, if you get rid of the preseason games, I mean, it is a big blow, but as long as you have those scrimmages, you can still get some work in, go against some other guys, but they're not having that either.
Yeah.
I mean, they're truly going to be tested week 1. It's going to be like a blank slate almost.
Yeah, like college football, man. Opening day.
Do as a group.
Yeah, I like that. I kind of, in a sense, it's not ideal for the NFL, but as a fan, it makes it like a college feel, so that's kind of cool, I guess, in a sense, in this crazy, wacky 2020. So,
yeah, too bad we're not playing, Appalachian State week 1. We're playing the Bills, who are favored to win, our division.
I know. Well,
that's the only difference. I mean, it's going to be a real test early on, especially for the Jets and this whole line.
Yeah, no, and it's going to be a real test for Sam Darnold too with that. Opening it up with those receivers, it's going to be a test for the defense without Jamal Adams. So you can make the case. It's going to be a fun game, and hopefully we can compete in it and win it. But we'll see what.
Yeah, and listen, it's going to be another year that we talked about last year, and I know it's frustrating, especially Jet fans like yourself that are so passionate, have been around a long time, but it's just going to be another opportunity for us to see who's going to be on this roster moving forward. This is Joe Douglas' second year, and he's going to still look to find guys who he can keep long term. Going to keep filling it with draft classes. I mean, that's another thing we didn't talk about. I'm really frustrated with. I mean, how many of our draft class guys are out? I mean, Zaninga's been banged up. Mims is banged up. Hall hasn't even practiced yet. So a lot on this draft class, a lot of pressure on these guys, and to see all these guys banged up is a little tough to start, especially with a lot of the hope being that these draft classes are going to ultimately change the Jets.
Yeah, and you want to see them on the field, but again, like I said, it's a preseason. Zuniga has a quad. I mean, I don't think that's going to linger all that long. I saw that Bryce Hall's coming off that surgery, so he's going to be a little bit on the return, so that was to be expected. Avery Williamson, they still haven't activated him off the PUP, but going back to the rookies, Cam Clark, I saw had a shoulder injury in his week to week too.
Guy is out too.
Fourth round pick. But I think they'll be all right. I mean, Brian Winters missed the whole preseason last year with that shoulder injury, and I thought it was going to be a problem. And then he started week 1, even though he didn't play well, but he got back on the field.
He didn't play well any of those weeks.
Yeah, that's true. But
by the way, what's his name? It might have been Connor Rogers. I can't exactly remember who tweeted it, but he said exactly what we talked about during the draft. Mims gets banged up, steps the wrong way, and is going to miss some time. That's where that 4th round was so huge. And when you look back at it, not addressing that second wide receiver in a draft like this, is going to be really detrimental. It looks like, unless some of these back end guys, Hogan, could step up. I mean, they really should have grabbed another guy, Brian. It's already come back to bite them before the season even started.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I said, if Mims is on the field week 1, we're going to forget about, all this stuff. So,
yeah. It's tough with a hamstring, though. That's
a hamstring could be a while.
It nags, it hangs around, We need this guy 100%, to get to maximize what he could do with Darnold,
No, I agree with you.
It may take some time.
Yeah, the injury definitely may take some time. So we'll definitely have to watch that one, see how it plays out. But it's going to be hard because, you can only really go off the coach's practice report. You can't really see the practices. So I guess in a sense it's like the beat reporters I know are at practice. I saw the Giant beat reporters were like huddled around. They took some pictures. But then, you could watch it on the Jets website. They have like training camp live, I think. But they don't do that every day. And I'm not 100% sure. But I know they did a walkthrough today. They were wearing basically masks, face coverings and stuff, and didn't really hit. They had 2 padded practices, I think, the last 2 days. So it's very strange because usually they go a couple extra days hard and then they'll take it easy. But here they've done workouts and then they did 2 days in a row and now they're not. But the good thing I saw, the league protocol with COVID, a lot of players, no one's really testing positive just as yet. So it's working. So we'll see when they play week 1 how that goes with travel and everything. But I think what the league is doing right now is kind of working. But again, it's a long season, and hopefully, it works out. I saw, what'd you think about the fan possibility? Kansas City's going to have, I think, 20% capacity, 22,000 people in the stands for opening night when they play the Texans. So maybe we'll get some fans back at MetLife for the end of the year. I don't really
really confusing. I just feel like there's no clarity. There's no, it's not a unified response. It's like everyone's kind of doing their own thing. I mean, that sounds great, but is that really going to happen? I have no idea if they could pull that off.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But, yeah, I'm with you. I think they should just keep it uniform. But they definitely want to make their money, some of these teams, and, that's a business thing.
I mean, how could you have fans for some teams and no fans for other teams? You know what I mean? It's like you're clearly going to give the Chiefs a big advantage if they could have anybody in the stands,
Yeah, no, I agree. But are they gonna pump in crowd? I mean, I would think the Jets they're gonna pump crowd noise in, right? When the teams are, that's at least what I think they would do, right? All these home teams, they're gonna make it hard on the visiting.
We've been pumping in crowd noise for years, no?
I mean, that's the rumor. We'll really find out what it sounds like this year that they do it, unless they're gonna play in quiet stadiums, which would be really weird. But I would think like they kind of do like what baseball does, but with football they'll have the people screaming before the snap and stuff for the visiting team. I don't know. Maybe it will actually work as an advantage because when no one goes to the Jet games, it's not that loud anyway.
Exactly. We've been pumping in noise for years.
Yeah. So
that's something that I think the NFL is going to have to figure out, and I really have no idea what they're going to do with that. Because, like I said, if people are going to have fans in, then you got to let every team have fans in. And, I just think with some parts of the country, it's really unsafe to do that right now.
Yeah, and law forbids it. In Jersey, you're not allowed to have a gathering more than 500 people. So until the governor changes that law or until he feels it's safe, it's definitely not gonna happen. So I think the league has to come down with something and say, for our teams, if this state can't do it, then nobody can do it. If they want to be competitively the same, so we'll see. It definitely would be.
Another point I want to bring up about camp is how good does Le'Veon Bell look? I mean, I know that it's a new O-line, and I know that, he's a little bit older now, and some people don't like his style, but I think he's going to have a real nice bounce-back year, and I think he's going to be the best Jet on the team.
All right, I like that.
Right?
I mean, I'm a big Lev Bell fan, and I said this, in our off-season episodes. I think this Jamal Adams trade definitely motivated him. I think he was motivated to begin with, that Adam Gase didn't use him properly, that he left Pittsburgh and came to the Jets, and now he's a joke and he's not any good. So I think he wants to really show the league why he is one of the best running backs in the league, and when they got him, that's what we expected. So I think he's going to bounce back, and I think with Adams taking a shot, of him leaving, he recruited him here. You know, he thought this would be a good spot where he could maybe win some games with a young quarterback, and now this guy leaves, and he was boys with him. I think this is really going to motivate him, and he's going to say, "You don't want to be here. That's great, but I'm here. I got my money, and I'm going to make this team." I think he's going to be out. I think he's going to be out there to perform this year. And I told you I wouldn't be.
It's a monster year for Le'Veon, for sure.
Yeah, and he has to, because if he doesn't perform, he's going to be cut. So if that
was something I was going to bring up to you. If he has a season that we're talking about, hopefully he gets going in the right direction. Hopefully he gets going early. Depending on the Jet situation, JD's going to have a lot to think about because, like you said, he's a potential cut candidate after the season, even if he plays well. Maybe he could look to move him at the deadline, or maybe he plays well and JD brings him back, for a couple of years on kind of a different kind of deal, depending on how well he plays.
Well, I think if he plays well, he would be I'm going to keep my same money and keep him, if he has a really good year, and then maybe you could cut him after that third year. But the problem with the cap next year, we don't know what the salary cap's going to be. The Jets are set up pretty well, but if you cut Bell, I believe you'll save another $12 million in the offseason, which could be, big. But if he produces like a star player, he's going to be worth that $12 million. So, I mean, we really just have to...
That's what we got to figure out, especially with the record. I mean, it all depends on the type of season that the Jets have, too. I mean, because if he's not in your future plans and he's an asset, you got to get a return on that asset.
Of course.
Like you said, instead of letting him just walk after the season. Give him to a contender, somebody who gets a running back nicked up, and see if he can get some value back.
Well, you have to see if he's
one of the most talented players in the league.
You have to see what the record is. You have to see if you have plans for him the next year. Maybe you could restructure his contract if you're not doing all that well, or if you think he's really performing and you think he's part of your plans, then you just keep him on the team and don't trade him and let him play his contract out. So, I mean, it's a lot of stuff to think about for Joe Douglas, but those questions will be answered throughout the season, I would think. So. That's just my opinion. But I don't think he's going to be traded this year. I think he's going to play well. And I think the Jets are actually going to, I think they're going to be not a playoff team. With 7 teams making it, they definitely will be in the thick of it, I think. But, if they're competing for it, I mean, they're definitely going to keep him. So that's my opinion. And if he plays well, why get rid of him? He's got one more solid year, I think, after this one in him. So cut him for that 4th year.
Yeah, that's an absolute possibility. I think that everything's on the table with JD, especially, JD not bringing in this guy. So, I think everybody's kind of on the bubble. Everyone's kind of, up in the air besides this draft class, really,
Yeah.
I mean, he's changing the culture. He's trying to add quality guys, and I think he's going to do it through the draft. So, you're going to keep seeing these one-year deals, these prove-it-type deals, giving these guys opportunities. To stay on this team longer. But, it's going to be what can you do now, and can you help this team, or, he's going to move you. He's going to move on from you.
Yeah. No, I think Joe Douglas definitely has a plan, and he's executing it, and he's going to be here for a long time. And I think he has the trust of the coach and the owner. So I think they're letting him, slow play it. He's only been here for about a year now. I know this is year.
I almost feel like he's bigger than them, Bryan. I almost feel like he's the boss of them.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously not the owner, because, the owner signs the checks, but...
No, he is.
He's kind of giving this guy free reign to really run everything.
Yeah, the Jets actually right now are run...
positivity about the Jets.
Well, that's a good thing. They actually are run through the GM. The Gase does, coaches, but reports to Douglas, and they run it, and they've got their quarterback in Darnold. So they're set up structurally in the organization, which is good. So I like that. I also think that, with Douglas, with the long term and the trading of the 2 first-round picks, they're going to let him see this through. But speaking of the draft, I know you had mentioned building through the draft. What do you think about with college football, possibly, the Big Ten, Pac-12, and the couple other conferences have canceled their seasons. So I know the ACC, Big 12, and SEC are going to play. But how do you feel about the draft picks with the scouts and everything for first-round picks if they don't have a season this year?
This is going to be one of the most unique and difficult scouting process for all the NFL teams, probably in the history of the NFL draft. I mean, a lot of kids have already opted out before the Big Ten and Pac-12 have made it official. So, a lot of kids were already leaving, focusing on that. But to only have a couple conferences to put together film, I mean, it's going to be really tough. You're gonna be going off of a lot of underclassmen, sophomore year, junior year type tape, and it's gonna be real hard to make sure you get the right guy with especially in the later rounds, because you're not gonna have film on a ton of guys. It's just gonna be workout numbers and private workouts and pro days. It's gonna be really hard. There's not gonna be a lot of film on many guys.
Yeah, so that's something, but hopefully, that's why Jeff fans, you got 2 number 1 picks, but you got to hit on him too. So hopefully he knows what he's doing with that, and I know he told the scouting department.
Who knows? Maybe he flips them for somebody. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know what he's going to do with those picks, so it'll be interesting. But what are you looking forward to with this defense this year? I know we haven't really talked about them that much on the show. What have you seen so far? I know early in camp. What have you heard? What do you think the defense is looking like? I know.
Well, I got kind of 3 points that I'll kind of hit on for the defense, and then I'll see where you're at. When everyone's healthy and everyone's good to go, the number 1 thing for me is the development of Quinnen Williams. I know the coach was saying that last year he felt like he was thinking too much instead of just reacting and making plays. So he's a guy that I'm going to be all over watching from the jump, trying to see if he could take that significant step into becoming, a real good defensive player, which hopefully, the Jets need him to be that, especially with where they drafted him. So Quinnen Williams is definitely a guy I'm all over on. The next guy is the rookie, who I think is a fantastic prospect, really excited. Hopefully, glad he's healthy right now and staying on the field, is Ashton Davis. I mean, what an athlete, Bryan. Every time I watch the tape on this kid, he just explodes on the field. He looks faster than everybody that he's playing against. And I really think he's going to make a big impact, especially with the Adams trade. That draft pick becomes way more valuable. He's a guy who can play right away. They can move him all over the place. He can play some nickels, some safety. He could go in the box. He's even played corner. I mean, so he's a real nice piece I like that could be moved around. And then my third guy, who I really have no idea what they're going to do or how good he's going to be, is Williamson. I mean, like you said, hasn't been activated yet. Super talented a year ago before the ACL injury and that dumb preseason game where he was kept in way too long. Hasn't been cut, even though I thought he'd be. Hasn't been traded like I thought he'd be. And with Mosley out, he's got to be in the major plans now. So those are the 3 kind of defensive guys I'm looking at. What are you looking at?
Yeah, number 1, I kind of agree with you with Quinnen Williams. We need him to really develop into year 2, and I like that the coaches said, I know you said that he looked like he got better. I know he came back in better shape this year. These coaches were just raving about that. His braces are off, too, which is nice. I'm happy.
Kind of reacting more than thinking, Kind of just taking what the O-line gives him and making the play.
Yeah, and now his braces are off, too, which are a big thing. He had the braces last year. I'm making a joke.
Yeah, man. Now he's a full-grown man. Hopefully.
Now he's a full-grown man. Hopefully he plays well. But I agree with that. In the secondary, you said Ashton Davis. I'm really curious to see how the cornerback group plays this year with Pierre Desir coming in from the Colts. Also, you got the other guy.
Did you see the starting corners that we put out there for the first practice? I mean, rough-looking group, Bryan.
Yeah, so that's going to – I know he's hurt. Brian Poole was banged up, but Quincy Wilson, they got in that trade in the 7th-round pick, so he's going to be another guy I'm watching for. Bryce Hall, if he does get on the practice field some point. I'm curious to see what they're doing with that group, but that should be an interesting one. So Quinn Williams, the corners, and then lastly, this guy Bradley McDougald, who we got from Seattle, he's replacing Jamal Adams. I know he's a solid player, but you need him to come in and, make some plays in because Ashton Davis, he's still a rookie. He's going to make mistakes. So you really want to see this defense perform. And I'm looking at your guy Marcus May, too. This is a contract year for him. He stayed healthy last year. Hopefully he can continue that trend and play really well and get an extension and be kept on this team because we need these draft picks to pan out. And you don't really want him to, get hurt again or have a setback because you want to see him do it 2 years in a row and really play well and be the leader on that defense. And also Avery Williamson, you mentioned. I think he'll be good. It would be good to see him back in the fold. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited. And, of course, Greg Williams is my guy, coaching all these guys up. The young linebackers, Hewitt, Cashman, Burgess.
What do you think of G-Dub saying Adams is going to get bored in Seattle? I kind of loved it.
You loved it? I didn't really love it. I just thought, it's sour grapes out the door. I don't know why they need to comment on a guy that didn't want to be here. I know they're frustrated, but I wouldn't have said anything. But that's Greg Williams, though. That's his personality. He's outgoing.
That's his personality,
yeah,
man.
so you gotta be yourself. It was me personally. I know Jamal Adams responded back. I didn't read what he said. I'm sure he didn't say too much kind words to him. I know he was on some Seattle interview, I think with John Clayton, actually, out in Seattle. He lives out there. They were doing a show, so I think he responded back to what G-Dub said. So, but we'll see. I'm excited for the defense. And then on offense, of course, Gase, man. Year number 2, it's make the playoffs or you're getting fired at the end of the year for me. And I think we both kind of agree on that.
I hope that that's the standard, Brian.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that Douglas and the organization holds him to that. Because he's not a new coach. He's not, that's fine. He's with a new team. But, this guy's been a head coach for a while. He's gotten plenty of opportunities. And you got to hold his feet to the fire. Because last year they should have been better. And they kind of got saved with with a crappy schedule, especially toward the end. Now this guy, is the team as strong as last year? We'll see. Probably not. But, this guy's got to make the playoffs or he's gone. And that may be unfair. That may be tough. But that's the truth because he's either got to take a significant step as a coach or he's got to go.
I agree. And you don't think this team is stronger than they were last year? I thought they improved a lot in the offseason on the line. And
I really liked the O-line. I thought the O-line has, been tremendous. Are we better at the wide receiver group? I don't know. Are we better with our edge group? I don't know. Are we better with the corners? We don't know. We're definitely not as good as the safety group, even though I like the group. So we definitely went down on that. I mean, Mosley's not playing again. It's tough. I think it's the offense is a little better, but the defense definitely took a hit.
I agree with that. I feel like they stayed the same, and maybe they went a little bit down on their safety group, but their O-line improved. So I feel like they're like the same type of team coming into what they were last year. So
not a big difference, but I think they're very similar. Maybe a little bit down in defense and up in offense, compared to last year, but they got to produce. They either gotta win or they got to find a new head coach.
Yeah, and Gase last year, I mean, had the 32nd passing offense. So you're here to develop Darnold, and if you're 32nd, I mean
he's a quarterback. They're calling him a quarterback guru. That's not a quarterback guru with the 32nd.
Exactly, and we're watching this kid, and the offense, he looks sharper and everything, but you got to be able to score points, move the ball, and they were not able to do that.
You got to be able to make adjustments too. I don't think that Gase has a problem scoring. I mean, the first drive they look great every game. It's what shows you that you're a good coach is that adjustment that wrinkle you add, the change that you make, what you see, and how you can change what you're doing to fit, what they're allowing you to do. And he fails at that every single time I watch him play. He's terrible with the clock. He can't even throw a challenge flag. He's got to be way better. He's got to be tremendous steps better if he wants to keep his job.
Yeah, and especially here, the fans have no love lost for him. So I think you'll feel pressure. I think it's really playoff or bust because, like our guy Chris Carlin said, Joe Douglas isn't going to want to tie his wagon to him. And if he brings him back for another year and they struggle in year 3,
they both could go.
So who knows? So I think it's it's a big year for Adam Gase, and it will be a big year for the team in the offseason, and we'll see what they do. But I'm really excited. But yeah, we'll continue to talk about it. We'll get to the 2-minute drill in a minute, but just to give the fans a little synopsis of what's going on in the future, we've got some episodes coming up. We still got to do our offense and defensive preview, so we'll get you to that. And then we've got a couple other episodes coming up probably before the season starts, so I'm looking forward to that, Bryan. But let's get right into it. It's time for the 2-minute drill.
All right, so I'm going to ask you some questions first. Number one, will Mekhi Becton be our answer as the franchise left tackle for the next 6 to 10 years?
Yes.
All right, you're stealing Becton. Give me a surprise cut that maybe a little off the radar, a little of a surprise that you think the Jets will make when they're cutting down their roster to their ultimate number. Give me a guy that you think ultimately gets clipped.
Ooh, a guy that gets clipped. I haven't really thought about it too much.
Yeah, a little on the spot. No, you haven't really looked at the
No, I think they can cut.
A guy you think just gets cut.
I mean, it's not really a shock. I know he played well last year. The tight end Daniel Brown from Harvard. I think that was the guy they signed from, right? We went to Harvard. Daniel Brown. You're a college guy.
That's a pretty soft surprise.
I know, but who else am I gonna cut?
All right, we'll move on. That's a tough question. We'll kind of rally back to that another 2-minute drill when it's a little closer. Okay, the Jets don't make the playoffs next year. Who's your ideal head coaching candidate?
Ooh, ideal head coaching candidate. Man,
Anybody.
You're ready to get Gase fired already.
Counting the days, my friend.
I mean, I would love to see the guy. I know he's not going anywhere. I'd love to see your guy from Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley, get a call from the Jets.
Oh, man, our offense would be beautiful under Link. I love it. That's a great pick. And my final question, a lot of guys are injured, a lot of guys are banged up. What is our starting corner combination week 1?
That's a good question, man. That's a tough one. Pierre Desir and, Poole's going to be the nickel. I mean, then you got Quincy Wilson, Bryce Hall in there. Our guy Millette played well. He's back. Bless Austin. I'm going to go with Quincy Wilson and Pierre Desir. 2 Colts. All right, who has a bigger impact on the offensive line for the Jets this year? Greg Van Roten or Connor McGovern?
I think McGovern's gonna transform this whole line. I think he has the best graded season of all 5, and I actually think that he's gonna be like a Pro Bowl candidate this year.
Over or under the amount of starts that Henry Anderson gets, I'm gonna put him at 8 starts.
Definitely a big year for Anderson. Thought he was really good 2 years ago. Obviously, last year was a disaster. But I think with the the contract gonna be a big decision on him. I think he gets more than 8 starts.
All right, I like that. I'm hoping for a big year out of my guy Henry. All right,
Yeah, me too.
running back question: will Frank Gore get more carries than LaMichael Piron this year?
It's a great question. I mean, Frank looks pretty good in camp. I mean, I saw some videos. The old horseshoe crab, I think, still got it. I think he has one more productive year, and I think that he actually does outduel Piron for that second spot.
All right, and final question: is Le'Veon Bell an All-Pro this year?
I'm going to go with no, but I think he's going to have a really good season. But I just think there's so many running backs with great offenses that it's going to be too hard for him to be kind of an all-pro. So I don't have him as an all-pro, but I have him as a great year. All
right, there you have it. That's the 2-minute drill. We will be on this podcast coming up in the near future. We are less than 4 weeks from opening day, man. I'm getting excited. What are you doing for opening day? You coming over to watch it?
I think I am. I think I should be coming over watching
Yeah,
that
definitely.
Buffalo game.
I know, you should come over. We haven't seen each other in a while from Corona. I think it's safe to head over. Well, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I am a little nervous about Darnold, though. I gotta say, I know I didn't kill him this episode, but I am nervous about not Darnold himself. I'm worried about the media, myself, and the fans just turning on the poor guy. I like right now I'm calm, and I get into a crazy different element when I'm watching the game. It's like he stinks, or you know how my texts are. It's impossible to deal with me. So I worry that if he plays poorly, I don't want to turn on him. I really want him to be good. I need him to be good.
You're gonna have to look at his situation. You're gonna have to look at a lot of the factors, and you can't really compare him to some of these great quarterbacks. You got to remember he's so young. He's only been doing it a couple of years. Obviously, we want him to be great, but we also got to set him up to be successful. Once we set him up for success, I think he'll ultimately elevate the guys around him. But you cannot elevate a really poor team with a poor coach at this time. So we got to limit our expectations.
All
we
right.
just want him to look better. Just let him look better. Let his numbers go up a little bit, and no stupid turnovers. That's it. That's all I'm looking for.
All right, no stupid turnovers. I'm going to hold you to that one. No stupid turnovers this year.
Yeah.
Wait, no,
like the Detroit pick to start his career, right?
Oh, baby, that was great. Pick 6 on the first play. My dad was screaming bust right off the thing.
Man.
Every Jet fan.
The amount of texts I got for that throw.
Oh, boy, there he is. I know I texted you. There it is. First play is a throw.
One of many. One of many, my friend.
I'm sure you did. All right, Bryan. Always good. Remember, you can hit us up on our Twitter page, Instagram. Give us a like. We need subscribers. I need you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We need to get up over 100. We're at 20 right now. We got to work. That's the goal before opening day. I need you all to subscribe to the channel, Jetting Up Pod. You can get us on YouTube there. And for my boy B, I'm Bryan Foti. We will talk to you real soon. And always, Jet fans, remember to jet up.